Hey Caleb, it's February 1st. I just spent the entire week in Chicago learning how to be a system administrator for our new database, and it gave me plenty of stories to be able to share with you. But I have to narrow it down to just one topic so that I can get it all in. So this week I'd like to talk to you about eye contact. The study of eye contact is a subcategory of oculesics, which is the study of eye behavior. Personally, I think it's kind of awesome that there's an entire field of study dedicated to eye behavior. Eye contact is such a small and simple thing that we often take it for granted, but it's also something that doesn't exist for strangers in most large cities. So I decided to do some research on eye contact. I put all the links to the helpful articles I found below. Numerous studies have shown that people who make higher levels of eye contact with others are perceived as being more dominant and powerful, warm and personable, likable and attractive, qualified, trustworthy, confident, all kinds of stuff. So according to these studies, eye contact can be a pretty powerful social tool. Eye contact is also known to create bonds between people. It can help you feel more connected to people and actually feel empathy for them. If I am doing a task or experiencing an emotion and you observe me doing it, the same neurons that are firing in my brain actually light up in your brain as well, just from you watching. This is made possible by mirror neurons in our brains. The activation of these mirror neurons is especially sensitive to facial expressions and, you guessed it, eye contact. So eye contact can create moments where you can actually feel what someone else is feeling. But too much eye contact can actually make people feel intimidated or even aggravated. This can be observed in lots of other species. Dogs, cats, bears, chimpanzees, and lots of other animals actually see direct eye contact as a form of aggression. And finally, on to the topic of eye contact in large cities, which is what got us here in the first place. I of course assumed, which is always a bad idea, that people in the city were callous to one another, or too busy to even recognize another person walking down the street. However, I came across an interesting article on civil inattention. In the process of civil inattention, people in large crowded areas avoid eye contact in order to provide a little bit of privacy for one another. People who aren't used to urban areas, like myself, often are struck by how impersonal this feels. It may seem callous and uncaring, but some sociologists actually claim that it is necessary for the peaceful coexistence of millions of people packed close together. In order for eye contact to feel good, one cannot impose their visual will upon another. It must be a shared experience. So according to this, I was actually being rude by forcing my eye contact on others. Finally, I'll close with an embarrassing story about eye contact that happened to me this week. I had been seeking eye contact all week, blatantly ignoring the social rules of civil inattention, and then I got more than I bargained for. While I was on the train coming home, I had to use the restroom because I drank too much Mountain Dew. I know that doesn't seem possible, too much, but apparently it is. And this train bathroom was fairly similar to an airplane bathroom in size, but there was one major difference. The door did not open on hinges, it slid into the wall. And when it slid into the wall, it created a very large opening with a very clear view of the rest of the train. So I went into the restroom and shut the door and briefly looked at the instructions that had an arrow pointing one way that said locked and an arrow pointing the other way that said unlocked. Since the handle followed the motion of these two arrows, I assumed that when I slid the door shut and clicked the handle in the direction of the arrow saying locked, that the door was locked. I was about to be quite surprised that this is not true. So, as I was standing there trying to keep my balance as the train was bouncing down the tracks, I was quite shocked to hear the door slide wide open. And as I looked over my shoulder to say occupied, I made eye contact with about half the train who was just staring back at me as I was standing at the toilet. Not exactly the best timing for eye contact. But I at least hope that that brief moment made half the train think that I was any and or all of the list of things people assume you are when you have good eye contact. Anyway, maintain good eye contact as long as you aren't being pushy and robbing other people of their privacy. Have a great week, and I'll see you on Wednesday.